What's up, my fellow programmers? Welcome to part 2 of building your video calling app series. In this installment, we focus on enhancing security using Node.js, MongoDB, and JSON Web Tokens. Learn the essentials of user authentication, token generation, and secure data management. Let's strengthen your app's foundation together. Okay, so to get started, first of all, we're going to open our folder from the part 1. If you don't have this code, you can either check the link in the description, which is a link to the GitHub repo, or you could just go to part 1 and follow that video. So right now, we have created this folder. Now I'll bring a VS Code tab and just, open this folder in VS Code. So once VS Code is opened up, we will open up the terminal. We will initialize our Node app using the command of npm init-y. This will start the Node app for us. This will initialize it. Okay, so now that it's done, we're going to install some Node modules or Node packages. So to do that, let's move this up. We're going to run the command of yarn add, and let's just copy this. So the packages that we are installing are bcrypt, which is for encrypting our passwords, so that we're not just storing the exact text that the users are entering. Course is to allow the APIs to be accessible from anywhere, like from your React Native or React.js or wherever you want to allow it. .env is to store our environment variables. Express is to initialize our server. JSON Web Tokens is for creating the authentication tokens and to handle authentication on the server side. Mongoose is for handling queries with the MongoDB cluster that we're going to create. And NodeMon is for our server handling, you can say, because whenever we make a change, we have to restart our Node server for the change to take effect. So for NodeMon, does that on its own. And finally, Express Async Handler is for handling asynchronous tasks with the Express server. So it has finished installing, and now we'll just add a type of module here. So we'll write type module, and it has to be in quotations. So let's just add that type module. The M should be small. Okay, and this will, allow us to use modern JavaScript, and that, makes our code look a bit better. And then we're just going to, write some scripts here, which is just simple. It's not very complex. So dev nodemon index.js, and for our start script, we'll just do node index.js. Okay, and I think that is all for our package.json changes. Oh yeah, we do have to add a comma here. That's why we're getting that error on line number 8. So let's save it. And let's create our index.js file here. So it would be index.js. And our index.js, we're going to initialize our server first. So to do that, we're going to import express from express import. Okay, let's import course letter. That isn't needed right now. So to start our server, we're just going to create a new variable pass the express function to it, and then we would just define our port as well. So const port is equals to, let's not just do the env part as well. Let's just keep it simple for now. So the port 8080 is defined, and then we're just going to do app.listen, and we'll just pass the port, and let's do 0.0.0.0, which means allow from anywhere. And then we'll just add a callback function so that we can know like if the server has started. And we'll just we'll pass a log for now. Let's do console.log server started on port, and let's do this thing port. Okay, I have changed the double quotations to the tilde sign, and let's save it and let's run it. So we will run in our terminal, we'll write the script of yarn dev, and if everything is fine, this should work. Okay, it's starting the server, which is good. It's starting the node. Okay, so you can see that we got our console log in the terminal, and let's just add a home page, just so that we can test it on the server end once we have deployed it. So let's do app.get, make it just a slash, which means home, request and response, make it a callback function, and let's just res.send, and let's just pass hello world. So I think that's the okay, yeah. And now we can just open a Chrome tab. Let me just open the browser, a new tab on our browser. Okay, I have it here, and let's open this. So this would be localhost port 8080, and this should show our hello world text here. Let's just wait for it to finish loading. Okay, as you can see that we are able to see the hello world text that we entered here, and that means that our server is working fine. So the next step would be to create our MongoDB cluster. Okay, so to create your first MongoDB Atlas cluster, I would recommend that you check out the link in the description. This is a blog written by one of my good friends, Asad Bukhari. He has explained how to create your first MongoDB Atlas account. So I'll just go through the steps in this video because it's a long process, and it's very much repeated, and it's pretty much the same on all the videos. So let's just go through the step. I'll explain it one by one so you guys can follow along. So first, you'll have to go to this link and click on the try free button if you don't have an account. But if you have an account already, you can click on sign in, and then you can use any method to sign up or log in. We usually use GitHub, but you guys can use Google or email sign up normally we do. So then you will have to click on this this button. Let's scroll down. Yeah, this one, the organizations button, and you'll have to click on view all organizations and click on this create new organization. You have to create an organization just so that you can invite other users to your cluster, and each organization can have multiple clusters. So it's fine. So you just have to stay with the free account, and then you have to create a new project. You can enter the name of your project. If you want to add members, simply type the email So this is if you want to invite other users, but if you don't want to, you can just click on the create project button and just stick with the free version, just because we don't want to this is just for learning purposes. MongoDB generates a URL for you guys that you can store in your environment file and access your cluster. So it requires a username and a password. So this is the password and the username that it's going to use, and then it would take you to what IP addresses you want it to be accessible from. You can add your IP address, or you can just click on it and click on the allow from anywhere, which will just allow the access from anywhere, which isn't recommended. But if you're just starting out and you don't know how to handle IP addresses and stuff, you can just stick with that. That is no problem. And then that's all. That's the step that we're going to follow, and it should just generate a he's just creating a database on Atlas. You don't have to add the data, because we're going to be using our own data. We're going to be storing and creating our own data, and you can see that it's very simple, nothing much. And he has imported the data, and you can see that he has the collection name, the database name, and so this is the important step. So if you want to use database collections, click on overview, then click on the connect button. Model gets your connection string. Okay, so you just have to click on select the driver as Node.js, copy this link, and just replace the password, the one that we added before. And hopefully, if you followed this correctly, you should be able to connect with it. So I already have created my own URI. So let's go and let's set up our Mongoose and see if we're able to connect correctly. And do drop a like and a follow because he has worked hard on this, and let's not just waste good resources. So the link is in the description. You guys can go and check it out. If you guys have any questions regarding this section, you can ask him in the comment section of his blog or down in this video. I'll make sure to help you guys out if you have any problems. So let's set up our Mongoose server. Okay, so once you have that URL, what we're going to do is create a new file here, and we're going to call it .env. So let's just create that file. You should try to store your variables that you don't want anyone to access in these files, because these are hidden files, and it's recommended that you do it this way. And then we're just going to add a MongoDB URL variable here, and then just copy and paste the URL that we got from our cluster. So I'll add that as well here, and it is recommended to not push this file to GitHub because then all of your secret keys are here. So once you've added the updated the env file, it is recommended to restart the server for the env file to take effect, because it doesn't work with nodemon. You have to restart it, because as I mentioned that this is a hidden file. So let's run the yarn dev command again, and we're going to be adding some code to access our variables from our environment file. So the first thing that we're going to do is import our .env package. So let's just do that. Let's import .env from .env. Let's just close this, and then we're going to write .env.config call this function. And I think that is pretty much it. We should be able to access our environment variables. So to check if everything is working fine, let's import and set up the Mongoose as well. So to do that, I'm going to import. Okay, there's a spelling mistake here. Import Mongoose from Mongoose. Before the app.listen, I'm going to write mongoose.connect. Mongoose.connect. Spelling mistake again. Okay. And then we're going to call process.env.mongo and make sure that the spelling of the MongoDB URL is the same as it's in your env file, or else it won't work because the variable won't exist. So make sure that it's the correct variable. And we're going to call a new function of we're going to pass use new URL parser true, and then callback function. I'm going to log like console.log successfully connected to MongoDB, and I'm going to pass this app.listen and the app.get code in that then as well. So the server starts when MongoDB has successfully connected, because it might take a few seconds to connect, and we don't want users to start making requests when the server hasn't started. And let's add a catch block. So it's going to be like catch error. This is so that if there is an error here, it could catch it. And this would be a callback function as well. And here we could just write down console.error. There is something wrong, and pass the error object. And let's save it. And let's see if it connects to the MongoDB cluster correctly. If we have done everything correctly, it should work fine. Okay, catch is not a function. Okay, I think I didn't. Okay, I think I know what I did wrong. I added the catch block after the app.get when I was supposed to add it after the .10 block. So I'll just cut it from there and add it on line number 22, and it should work now, because you can see that we got the console logs of successfully connected to MongoDB, and then server started on port 8080. So let's restart it. Okay, so we're going to create a new folder here of models and have a user model file in it. So let's just create that. Let's have a folder of models, and then inside that we will have a file of user.model.js. Save it, and inside of this file, first what we're going to do is import. Okay, spelling mistake again. So let's import Mongoose from Mongoose const user schema is equals to mongoose dot schema, and this is going to be a function, and which will have an object, and inside of this object we're going to pass what kind of fields are we going to be storing in this model. So let's first thing I think that we will be needing is the name of the user, which is very important. So this is going to be a type of string, and let's add the require true to it. So, like it throws an error when it doesn't have that name. And we are also going to need a phone number, because this is a video and audio calling app, and we need a number to be able to make calls to users. So this is going to be a type of number. This is also going to be required. So required true. And finally, I think we just need one more field, which is a password. So we are not using, like one-time password OTP functionality on this project. So that's why we are going to need a password. But if we were using some service like Twilio to, get the OTP, then we won't be needing this. But for now, it is recommended that we add it. And I think that is all. So one more thing that we want is we will create another object and have the timestamps as true, so that we can know like what time was it created and what time was it updated at. So now we're going to export default mongoose.model. This is going to be a function which will have the name of the collection and user schema. So we're just passing what we initialized here. And I think that is all. So let me just increase the size of this, just so that we have a little bit more space to work with. Yeah, and let's just save it. And so now we do have our model.js file. Now we are going to create our routes file. So we're going to do the same. We're going to create a new folder called routes, and inside of routes we're going to have a user.route.js file, and inside of this file we're just going to define the routes, like what routes is this section, like what kind of stuff are we going to be doing here. So in our routes file, let's first import express from let's first import express from express. Okay, so we have imported express from express, and after that we are going to import the functions that we're going to create, but for now we don't have that. So I think we should create our controllers file first. So let's do that right now, just so that we have something to import out. So we're going to have controllers, and that will have a file of users. Okay, users.controllers.js, and here we're just going to be making some functions to log in, sign up, update. I don't think we're going to do delete right now. So sign up, login, that kind of stuff. So let's create the functions. So let's do import user from, we're going to define the path of our models /user.model.js, and we're going to import bcrypt from bcrypt, and this is for our password, making it secure. Now before we start making our controllers, one thing that I forgot to mention is that how we are going to handle the authentication, like how does JSON Web Tokens work. So for that, we're going to create a new folder of middlewares and have a token.js file in that. So I think it will have like two functions, which one is for generating the token, and one is for validating it. So we are going to need that if we're going to start building these APIs. So let's go to let's create a new folder of middlewares slash token.js, and inside of this file has been created. I can't see it. Okay, yeah. So inside of this file, I'm going to import JWT from JSON web token, and I'm going to import user model from the path to our models file, user.model.js. Okay, the spelling is wrong, so this is going to be user.model.js. So the first function that we're going to create is generate token. So generate token, let's make it an arrow function. So this is going to have a value of ID, because we're going to pass our user's ID here, and then it will like generate a token for us. So const access token is equals to JWT dot sign, let's close this bracket, and this is going to have a user ID and ID. You can like pass anything you want here, like if you want to store the name, some like anything you want, you can just keep on adding here, but I just want the user ID to be kept here. And so this is a secret that we can enter here. So I'll just add access token right now, but this should be like unique to you, so that it's harder for people to be like decode your tokens. And one more thing that you can add, but I won't be adding it here, is the expires in. So you can do like 7D, which means in 7 days this token would be expired and you would have to relog in, but I will not be adding that right now. So let's save this function, and we're going to return this access token. So return access token, and I think this is our generate token function. Now the other function that we're going to need is verifying if the token is valid. So this would be a verify token, and this would have a request, then a response, then next, because this is a middleware. And how middlewares work is that once your route is called, we're going to pass this verify token function in it, and like before your before the function that you're importing from your controller is initialized, it is going to run this function that we're going to pass in the middle. That's why it's called a middleware. So I think if it's a bit confusing, you will get a better idea once we have completed the whole project. And at the end, I'll make sure to like explain this token thing, because this really confused me when I was starting out. But once I understood the concept of it, it made it a lot easier for me to like get my head around this concept. So this is going to need a so inside of headers, like we're going to pass an authorization token. So that auth that we pass. So this is going to be authorization is equals to request dot headers. So this is going to check if the headers has the authorization like passed to it. So if it doesn't have it, we're going to throw in error. So we're going to do return res dot status 403 dot send, and let's pass the error message, you must be logged in. Okay, I think this is fine. So we have the if condition, and then we're going to, if the authentication token is passed, so we are going to check it. So first we have to make sure that we are removing the bearer from start. So to do that, we're going to do authorization dot replace bearer. Let me make sure that the spelling is correct. B-E-A-R-E-R. Okay, I think it's fine. So yeah, let's remove the space like this. Make sure that it's exactly the same, or else it might cause some issues. What I mostly do is I just have written this code once, and I'm using it for all of my projects because this code remains the same. And it's really like a plug and play type of situation here. So let's run our JWT.verify. So we're going to verify now. Oh, spelling mistake again. So verify. Yeah, so we're going to run this JWT.verify and pass it the token and our, secret. What most of us, usually do is that we try to access the secret from our .env file because we don't want this to be public. So then this is going to be an asynchronous function which will have error and payload. This is going to be a callback function. And if there is an error, what we're going to do is check if the error instance of JWT dot token expired error, then we're just going to return res.status 403.send an error message which says your token has expired. You can customize it to whatever you want to say here, but I want to keep it simple. So we're just checking if the error is similar to what this error is, and if it is, then it just throws an error saying that your token has expired. But we haven't added that, so we don't have to worry about it. But I've added it here just so that if you're using that expiration code, you're checking it as well. So then we're just going to check, just pass the error if it's not an instance of JWT token expired. So we're going to do the same thing here for 3.send error. You must be logged in. And okay, so now we have made sure that there is no error and we're still inside of our JWT.verify. Then we should be, if everything is fine, then we should get that user ID from our payload. And as I mentioned before, let's go up a bit. You can add anything that you want to add here. So I had just added, user ID here. So that's why I'm just getting the user ID. But if you had added more information like the username, phone numbers, all of this stuff, which isn't recommended, because if the authentication's token character length is more than, I think 200 or something, it doesn't work. So it's recommended to keep it as short as possible. So it's I think a good thing to just pass the user ID as it's unique for every user. And MongoDB is already creating that for you, so why not use it? So let's get that from our payload. And then we're just going to const user is equals to await user model. Yeah, user model dot find by ID, and we're going to pass it our user ID. So we're just getting our like user's data, and we're going to pass it like request.user is equals to the user. So why are we doing this? Just so that when we're making or like working with the user data, we have all of the information that is required, and we can send that information back if the user is trying to log in, or if you're like working on some complex function that requires the user's data, like who is accessing, that's why it's that's why we're doing this. We are just getting the user data and passing it. And this next function runs the next function because, as I mentioned before, this is what's going to be run in the middle. So once the function is called, then this function will run. If everything is fine, then the actual function will run. We'll look into it when we're working with our routes file. And then we're just going to export both of these functions, which is generate token and verify token, and let's save it. Okay, I believe that the spellings are correct. Let's just make sure that they are. Okay, it's 2, and this one I think is correct. Okay, yeah. So this is done as well, and we have saved the file as well. So I think now we can go back to our user's controller. Okay, so now we're just going to like make our controllers or like functions to handle everything. So the first function that we're going to create is our sign up function. So let's do const. It's going to be const. Okay, yeah, it's working now. Sign up is equals to async callback function, which will have request and response. So arrow function const number, password, and name. This is what we are going to be, this has to be equal to request.body. So this is what we're going to be getting from the user. And let's add a try catch. Okay. Error, I think error text is fine. So this is going to be let user is equals to await user dot find one number, and if the user exists, then we're just going to throw a status of 200.json success false. Oh, it shouldn't have the double quotes because it's a Boolean that we're trying to pass here. And the message would be message would be number already exists. And if there is no user, so we will add an else const hashed password is equals to await bcrypt dot hash. So bcrypt has a function of hash which we can use to like hash our password. So first we will pass our password that we are getting from our user in the body, and like how many times do you want to run it. So let's do 10 because that's I think fine, and it won't take much of your time, but will make the password more secure. So new user, so we're going to let new user, then new user. So the user is the model that we created before. So this would be user, and will be a function. We will pass here the name that we got from our body, number, and password would be hashed password, which is coming from line number 19 to us. And then we're just going to new user dot, new user is equals to await new user dot save. So this would now have the new data. So now we're just going to create the our access token, which would be const access token is equals to generate token. We're just importing it from our token.js file. We just created this function, so we will be passing the unique ID that we got from MongoDB, and this would generate the access token for us. And then we can just pass the status of 200.send. 200 means success, so success true. We're going to pass the access token here, access token, and have a user data as well, so that we can store it in the front end if you want to. And I think that is all for the try block. Now we just have to write the code in our catch block. So we can just do console dot error. Let's do error because it's an error. So console dot error. Oh, okay. Console dot error, and let's pass the error. We can also add error in sign up, so that we can know where is the error coming from, and the status would be 404.json. The error message would be failed to sign up. So if there is any errors, it would just say that it failed to sign up. And this is our sign up function, and I think this is all. So now we have to create our login function, which is pretty much similar to the sign up function, but we will just be getting the number and the password from the user. So let's create that now. Let me just close this up. So to create our login function, this is going to be pretty much the same. So you can just keep reusing everything, but let's code this ourselves. So this is going to be const login is equals to async request response. This will be an arrow function, and this will have the try catch block as it is. And I think we can just copy the catch block as it is, because it's pretty much similar. So let's just copy this catch and paste it here. And so instead of saying error in sign up, let's change that to error in login and fail to login. So and now inside of our try, we're going to get the number and password from our body, request our body, and then we're going to let user is equals to await user dot find one. Oh, sorry. So we have to add a number here. So number Now we're going to check if this user exists. If user, then const compare is equals to await bcrypt dot compare. So password user dot password, and it shouldn't be in this double quotes because we're passing the password that we got from here, from our body, and inside of the user that we found. So we're checking using the bcrypt.compare that if the password is correct, and if compare is equals to 3 times equal to true, then we're just going to generate our access token. So const access token is equals to generate token and pass the unique ID here. So this would be user underscore ID, and we're just going to pass the rest.status of 200 send, and this is pretty much similar to what we did before. So success would be true. Okay. Success is true. Access token, so access token is being passed as well, and finally it's going to be user, then user. And yeah, so we have the if. Okay, and if the password isn't correct, so okay, yeah, this one. So here we'll just add else rest dot status of 200 dot JSON. Success would be false, and the error message would be password error invalid password. And yeah, so yeah, this is for our compare if else. Now for the other if else, that if the user exists, that is good, but if it doesn't exist, then like we'll just throw a similar error. So I'll just copy this here from line number 67 to 72, because that is what we need right now, and have a similar else block, and just change the message to number error and user not found. So you can do user not found, and this is our login function. So you can see that it was very simple as compared to the sign up one, because we didn't have to do much here. And yeah, let's increase the size of our VS Code here. I think this could be of help. And now the final function that we're going to be needing is the getting of all the users, because if you remember in our part 1, we were like getting all of the other users that had an account with us, and then like we could make calls to them. So let's just make that, and I think this is the only function left that we're going to be needing, because these are the only 3 functions that we are doing in our front end right now. So to do that, let's just go and do the same. This is going to be very simple as compared to the other login and sign up APIs. So it's going to be the name of the function. Okay, 1 second. So it's going to be const get all users is equals to async, then request and response arrow function, have a try catch block, try try catch, copy the catch block from above because it's going to be very similar. And inside of catch block, we'll just change fail to login, fail to get all users. And we'll just copy this, have an S at the end, error in get all users. Okay, so for now, our try block, we're just going to do const users is equals to await user dot find, and we want to exclude the current ID, so we would be doing ID then $NE, which means that remove this data, request dot user dot ID. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it for this one. So this would be rest dot status 200.json, and success would be true, and users would be users, and that is all. So now we will just export these three functions, and we're like almost done now. Export, sign up, login, and get all users. So yeah, that is for our controllers file. So we have created our three functions that we needed. Now we can move on to our routes file. Okay, so finally, we are just going to work on our routes file. So we have already imported Express from Express. Now we just have to import all of the functions. We could do that, or like, like, I think, okay, yeah, let's just import it right now. So we're going to import get all users, login, and sign up. So I think these are our functions, and we're going to import it from the controllers slash users dot controllers dot js. Okay, I think the path is correct, and yeah, it seems fine. 1 second, let me just make sure that the okay, yeah, it's sign up and get all users. So I think we spelled sign up wrong. Let's just copy all of this from here. Rest I think is fine. So let's save it in our controllers file. Let's go back to our routes, and inside of our routes we will just replace what we copied from our export. So yeah, sign up, login, and get all users. Now we can import the verify token from middlewares dot token dot js, and we will now initialize our router. So this would be user router is equals to express dot router, and then we would just use this user router to define our route. So first would be of type post, which would be registration slash sign dash up. You can keep it whatever you want. This is like totally fine if you want to name it something else. So we will pass the sign up function here, and let's just copy it 2 more times. So let's do one for login, and let's copy this get all users because I don't want to type it again. And for login, this would be just slash login. and get dash users, and then we would just export default user router, and that is all for our user router file as well. Now we just have to import it in our index.js. So let's just do that. So I'll copy this user router text from here and go to our index.js file. So once we are on our user.router file, index.js file, let's import the user router from ./routes/user.routes.js. Okay, this is fine. So let's just copy user router again, and we just have to use this router now. So to do that, you can scroll to the end and add just app.use, keep it slash, and you can add user or whatever you want. So if you have multiple routes, you can define them like if it's like whatever you can, like if you have a posts module, you could have slash post then post router. It's totally up to you, but I'll just keep it as slash for now. And I think that is all. Now it should work because we are just in our Node app, but if you remember at the beginning, we installed a package of course. So we're going to import or like use that as well. So let's do that. So like app.use course, and we also have to use one more, app.use body parser dot URL encoded extended true. This is just so that we can access like JSON formats, because sometimes it does cause some issues. So if you're using body parser, it makes it very easy for you to handle those kinds of files. So body parser.json, and we also have to import the body parser. Import body parser from body dash parser. And I think that is pretty much it. So let's just save it, and let's make sure if we have the body parser package installed, because I'm not sure if we installed it at the beginning. So let's go to our dependencies and check. So yeah, we don't have that, and let's see what's the error are we getting. Is it related to body parser or is it something else? So okay, so it's saying cannot find module user routes.js imported from packet index.js. So let's check this error as well. But before that, let's install the body parser package, body dash parser. So while this is installing, let's check our index.js file, because it's saying that the path for user.routes. Okay, so I think there is a spelling mistake here. It should be route, not routes. So let's fix that. And hopefully once body parser has finished installing, everything should work fine. So let's just wait for it to finish installing the package. Okay, so now it has finished installing the package. So let's try running it. So yarn dev a. So there is an error again. Let's see what it is. So users middleware token.js imported from user.route.js. So the error is in user.route.js, and it has something to do with this. I think there is a spelling mistake here. So middlewares Okay, I think I know what the error is. So it isn't middleware's dot, it's slash. Uh, okay, now let's save it again and see if there are any other errors. So it's starting. Okay, so in user model. Okay, so where is this coming from? File, user model, import Mongoose from Mongoose. Okay, so in our user model.js, I think, okay, yeah, this should be in double quotes. So let's save it now. Okay, there is an error again. So users model once compiled. Okay, so the error that we were facing regarding the user model is that in one file, we are calling it as user model. And in our user controller.js file, we are just calling it as like user. So that is what was causing that issue. So to fix that, it's very easy to do so. Just make sure that whenever you're importing this model, you're doing it with one single like naming convention. So for here, I'll just replace the user model to, no, sorry. This should be user model. So instead of user model, it should just say user because we are calling it as user in our controllers file. And that should fix this issue. So one more issue that we found or like we got in our log was the course was not imported, and I think we forgot to do that. Yeah, course isn't imported, so we're going to import course as well. So to do that, it's very simple. Just go ahead and import course from course. And yeah, so this is this course is not defined, and hopefully this should fix it now. Course. Save. Let's wait for it to finish starting it, and let's hope that we don't get any more errors. Okay, yeah. So finally, it's working now. So we have successfully connected to MongoDB, and the server has started. And as there are no errors, so hopefully the APIs should work as well. So now let's try testing these APIs. And to test them, I'll be using, you can use Postman to do that, or you can use this VS Code extension called Thunder Client, which is what I mostly use because then I don't have to leave I don't have to leave my VS Code to just test APIs. I can do it from here. Okay, so I was testing the APIs. So we found one more issue, and the issue is in the catch block. And in the catch block, you can see that we are calling the error, but instead of passing error, we're passing err. So to fix this, it's very easy. You could just go ahead and update the err text to error, and it should be fine then. So let's just replace it. It's in login and get all users. So error here, and finally in our catch block. Okay, so it's done saving. It's just starting the server. So let's open our Thunder client. Okay, so let's test our registration. So what I did was I took the URL, which is localhost 8080. 8080 is our port. Registration / sign - up is coming from our user.route file. And if you remember, in our controllers, we are passing number, name, and password if it's correct. Let's just make sure that the values that we are passing are the correct ones, that there are no spelling mistakes, just so that we are sure. So yeah, number, password, and name. So yeah, it's fine. Let's just test it now, and let's see. It's processing. So while testing, it failed to sign up, and there is one more error that password is not defined. So I think we made a spelling mistake somewhere. So let's check that. And it's in our users controller file. Okay, so let's go to our user controller. Okay, so I think, yeah, so this is the issue here. So inside of hash, the spelling is wrong. So let's fix that. Oh, sorry. It should be passwords. Okay, yeah. Let's save it. And let's cancel this because it's pretty much clean right now. Let's wait for it to start again. And let's pray that this time it works fine. And that's why, like testing is very important when you're building the APIs, because like, you might have not predicted these kind of errors, like spelling mistakes can happen. And these things don't happen when like when you're actually developing stuff, because you can just copy paste everything, and then it's pretty much fine. Okay, so there is another error, which is generate token is not defined, and this is in the users controller file. Okay, let's check if we have imported that. I think because I'm recording, VS Code is like a little slow. Yeah, we haven't imported that, so let's import that. Let's go here, generate token. So I think, this autocomplete stuff, I think, is taking some time because I'm recording as well, and it might be heavy on the machine. So, okay, I'm not able to get it here, so let's just import it manually. So it would be import verify token, or like generate token from middleware. Is it middleware or wares? Let's just make sure of the spelling this time, so that we don't face any more errors. Middleware / token.js. Let's save it now and test it again. Let's go to the new request and try testing it again. Okay, something went wrong again. Let's check what's the issue. Generate token does not provide an export name default. Okay, so it should be in a curly braces because we are like importing multiple functions from this file, so that is why we're getting this error. Okay, so it's running now. Let's test our API. Let's click on send. Okay, number already exists, so let's try it with a different number. Let's add an 8 and send. There were no errors, so I believe that the API is working. Yeah, so it's working now. So you can see that we are getting the access token, and the name, number, ID, created ad, all of that information we are getting now. So let's test the login API. So what we can do is, as the information is pretty much the same, we can just change it to login. And let's remove the name because that isn't required. We can, like send it, but let's just remove it for now. So, okay, so there is an error here as well. I think it's with the data and hash argument required. Okay, so let's check that user controller file. What's the issue there? I've found what the error was. The thing is that when first we were trying to sign up, we were passing the wrong password variable, so that was like storing it incorrectly. So to do, like to handle this, we'll just add this function here. I got this from the documentation. You guys could just copy paste it. Okay, yeah, let's remove this comma here. Okay, cancel this. And one more thing. Yeah, it's fine now. So we will have to create a new account and check the login process in like the login API using that endpoint. So let's just open this registration API. Oh, okay. We had to change the number, so let's cancel this request because this number already exists. Let's do 9. Send. Okay. Now we have the name, number, and everything. Now let's try the login API. So login. and let's keep everything as it is. Let's test it. And so again, it's saying invalid password. Okay, so I finally found the cause of the issue. It was a spelling mistake that was causing everything to break. So it should be password, but the spelling was wrong. So hopefully now everything should work fine, because now we're passing the correct variables everywhere. And this simple spelling mistake was the cause of our errors. So now finally we can just go ahead and test it again. I have deleted my like users collection just so that we could start from scratch. I will show you the MongoDB atlas in just a moment. Sorry, I mean MongoDB compass. Once we have created some users, so let's test it now. So let's send this, and I'll also, once it has finished processing, I'll also show you our MongoDB compass. So here is our MongoDB compass. So this is the cluster that I'm currently using. So this is the database that I'm currently working in. The database, and there is the users collection. And let's see if the password is being stored now. So yeah, you can see that the password is being hashed and stored correctly now. So now, hopefully, the login API should function properly as well, because this is what was causing the issue before. And login. And okay, so there is an error of invalid password. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just make sure that there are no spelling mistakes in the login function as well. Yeah, it's fine here. User password. Let's check. Let's log out our data that we are getting from this user variable to see if we are getting everything that we need, because we are getting this error because one of these variables might be empty. I'll also log out the request.body just so that we're so let's try this out now. So let's try it now. Okay, so I have made a few changes. One of them is that I removed the callback function from this bcrypt compare because that was returning undefined. And there's one more spelling mistake. It should be token, but here it says it's a double K. So that's one of the issues that we were getting. And let's try it out now. And if at any point you feel like that you are not able to solve the issue, you can drop down your issue in the comment section below, and I'll try my best to help you guys out. And if you want, the link to the code that is working is in the description below as well. You'll find a repo to the GitHub repository, and you can just go ahead and compare your code if you missed something or there might be something. But do drop your questions in the comment section so that we can figure the issue out. So let's try the login function now. So let's click on send. And finally, it's working now. So you can see that we are able to log in and sign up. There were a few issues, but we were able to solve them, and that is the main part of building projects, debugging. Once you get comfortable with the stack that you're working with, you will get good at debugging it. But I think that 80% of the job in development is just debugging your code. So now let's try our final API, which was get-users, I believe. But let's just make sure that it is correct. So let's go to our user route. And okay, yeah, so it's get users. Hopefully there are no spelling mistakes this time. Now to test this, okay, I haven't added the verified token here. So let's do that as well. And yeah, make sure that this user route is of type get. So just change it to get if you have it as post. So now let's just change it to get from here. And if it's working fine, then we'll add the verify token functionality as well, as that hasn't been added yet. Okay, I just remembered that we need the verify token function to get the user ID in our controller. So let's just add it, which was just simple. We can go ahead here and add it like this. And I believe that is all. And now you can just save it. And now let's just test this code base. Okay, so finally we can test our get users API. Just make sure that it is of type get. You can remove everything that is in your body. And let's go to the auth tab, select better, and just paste the auth token which you got once you logged in or signed up. And then you can press the send button, and hopefully it should get back some users. I created some more users just so that we could test this API. So as you can see that after adding our auth token that we got during logging in or signing up, we do have a users array. And I think there should be 2 users. So everything seems to be working fine. And I think that is all. So if you guys like this video, please do like, subscribe, and share with your friends who you might think might get something to learn from this video. And if you guys have any questions or any suggestions, please do let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much guys for your support. One of my videos, which was on Lottie files, got around or like more than 10,000 views, and I'm very grateful for that. So I wanted to thank you guys for helping me achieve that goal. Now I believe that we are around at 140 subscribers at the time of making this video. So I am aiming to reach just 500 subscribers before the end of this year. So if you know someone who is learning React Native or Node.js, or you think that they might benefit from the content that I'm making, please do share it with them so that we can reach that goal. I really need your support so that we can reach our goal of 500 subscribers before the end of the year. So thank you so much guys for your support. And in the next part, which will come out shortly, we will be integrating these APIs that we've just created into our React Native app that we created in our last part. So see you guys in the next episode. Bye.